In face of worsening COVID-19 situation in national capital Delhi, Home Minister Amit Shah to hold two key meetings today with Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal and mayors of all three municipal corporations. Union Health Minister to also take part in the meeting. To arrest mounting cases of COVID-19, Delhi's Lieutenant Governor announces increased penalty for violating safety directions such as not wearing face masks, spitting in public, breaking quarantine. BJP to organize several Jan Samvad rallies today. Senior ministers including Rajnath Singh, Nitin Gadkari and party chief JP Nadda to address party workers in different parts of the country through virtual link. Persons recovering from COVID-19 infection now far outnumber active cases, while 1,62,000 have recovered from the infection. Active positive cases stand at 1,49,000. Globally, COVID-19 positive cases cross 77 lakh. And in the United States, Atlanta police chief resigns following reports of death of another African American. In the hands of police, incident sparks fresh wave of protests in Atlanta and elsewhere in the United States. Hello and welcome to this edition of the news. I'm Rukma and our top story. In a bid to mitigate the worsening situation pertaining to COVID-19 in the national capital, the central government has jumped into the fray. Union Home Minister Amit Shah will be holding two crucial meetings with the Lieutenant Governor of Delhi and Chief Minister to review the COVID situation in the national capital. SDMA members, AIMS director and senior officials are also likely to attend the review meeting. Amit Shah will also take part in the crucial meeting. And joining us now is our correspondent Arun Sharma with more updates. Arun, at around what time is the meeting scheduled for today? Two very crucial meetings to help people in Delhi to boost the government's efforts to support the people in Delhi in the fight against COVID-19.
That's right, Rukma. In a short while from now, the Home Minister Amit Shah shall be meeting the Chief Minister and, of course, the LG of Delhi at 11 o'clock in the morning time. And the important part is that why is this meeting important? Because yesterday, Prime Minister Narendra Modi took a stock of the situation as far as the COVID is concerned. And during the meeting, there were concerns on the number of rising of cases in Delhi. So Prime Minister Narendra Modi only suggested to Home Minister Amit Shah today to review the meeting with the stakeholders of Delhi and to meet the Chief Minister and of course LG of Delhi. So the Home Minister Amit Shah will be meeting at around 11 o'clock with the Chief Minister of Delhi and the LG, and in the evening time the Home Minister will be meeting the mayors of all the municipal corporation of Delhi. But yes, important part is that we know this fact that Delhi is facing severe crisis as far as the rising number of cases are concerned. Supreme Court also pulled up Delhi government for mismanagement as far as the COVID cases are concerned, for treatment of the COVID patients are concerned, and second importantly, why the testings were declined or why the testings are decreased, because Supreme Court observed that the testing numbers have decreased from 7,000 to 5,000 and below. So this is really a cause of concern for the Delhi government, and in that context only, how can there be a concrete coordinated efforts as far as centre and states are concerned? So in that context only, Home Minister Amit Shah shall be meeting the Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal and of course the LG. So that's an important meeting, and yes, as the Delhi government has projected that there could be close to 5 lakh cases by the end of July, and there could be a requirement or need of approximately 1.5 lakh beds by the end of July. So how can the bedding capacity can be increased? We know this fact that as far as Delhi is concerned, there are only close to 10,000 beds in Delhi. This includes the bedding capacity of the COVID hospitals from the center hospital, from the Delhi government hospital, and of course from the private hospital. So how can the bedding capacities can be increased? Number one, how can more and more isolation wards and proper health infrastructure can be created? So that can be that is very much likely on the agenda. And how can more and more testing can be done? How can testing capacities can be increased? We know this fact that the LG of Delhi has reversed the order of Delhi government, which said that only Delhiites will be treated in the Delhi government hospital, and only asymptomatic patients shall be only asymptomatic. There won't be any kind of testing for the asymptomatic patients. So these orders were reversed by the LG of Delhi also. So now how can testing capacities can be increased? How can proper contact tracing be done? And how can center and states both come together and in a coordinated manner, the COVID number of rising cases in COVID can be controlled as far as Delhi is concerned? That will be very much likely on the agenda when Home Minister Amit Shah meets the stakeholders of Delhi, primarily Delhi Chief Minister and LG of Delhi at 11 a.m. in the morning.
Right. Thank you very much, Arun, for joining us there and for those inputs. And Delhi's Lieutenant Governor Anil Baijal on Saturday approved changes in the Delhi Epidemic Diseases Regulations, which empower officers of the Health Department, district magistrates, SDMs, authorized health officials and sub-inspectors and above of Delhi Police to impose a fine of 500 rupees for the first offence and a fine of 1,000 rupees for a repeat offence if any person is found violating them. The observation of quarantine rules falls under this. As per the regulation, these are main points on which fines can be imposed. Maintaining of a social distancing, wearing of face mask or cover in all public places or workplaces, prohibition of spitting in public places, prohibition on consumption of pan, gutka, tobacco, etc. in public places. And in case of failure to pay spot penalty, action under Section 188 of the IPC will be taken against the offender by an authorized police officer. The objective is to make sure that the guidelines for containing the spread of COVID are followed strictly in letter and spirit. On the occasion of completion of 1 year of the Modi government, the BJP is holding virtual rallies across the country, through which the achievements of 1 year of the government will be conveyed to the public. In today's edition, on behalf of the BJP, virtual rallies for several states will be addressed by the Defence Minister Rajnath Singh, Union Road Transport and Highways Minister Nitin Gadkari, Bharatiya Janata Party National President JP Nadda, Union Minister Smriti Irani and Narendra Singh Tomar. And joining us now is our correspondent Meghna, who has all the latest details on this story. Meghna, more virtual rallies scheduled for today. It's a unique mode, in these times, as there are so many new guidelines because of COVID-19 and so on. Well, what is the kind of response that these virtual rallies are getting? How successful have they been so far? And what can we expect today?
Yes, Rukma, absolutely. As you said, this is the new mode of communication, as where we know that the new guidelines which are there, the new guidelines which are in place, obviously the party cannot hold the public rallies, which generally whenever a year landmark is completed, a year milestone is completed in the party generally holds public rallies and reaches out to people to actually explain and actually bring to them the report card of what all they have done in the past 1 year or in the past 2 years, in the past 3 years. This is the completion of 1 year of the Modi government 2.0, and the mode of communication that has been chosen is the digital mode of communication, which was the need of the hour also, because to actually explore the area of digital communication, the social platforms, and to utilize it to the optimum. And the Bharatiya Janata Party has managed to actually reach out to people in person, in communication, and obviously technology has become a big enabler in this format. And as we know that the Jan Samvad there are about 70 to 75 rallies that the BJP has planned, the virtual rallies that the BJP has planned to actually bring forth the work that has been done in the past 1 year, be it on triple talaq, be it on the abrogation of 370-35A, be it CAA, be it all the other the milestones and the developmental work that the party has done, that the government has done, and also bring forth what the party is also doing during the COVID crisis, and the stimulus package also that the Prime Minister had announced. So all of that has also been, taken into consideration, and it is being put in on the public platform. Now, what the biggest advantage of connecting through social media is when it's also a two-way communication. The deeper a person penetrates into the social media platforms, a stronger two-way communication can be managed, and you actually get to know the real response of the people, of the public that is listening to you. There are a number of people who also, share these live links of the rallies on different social media platforms that helps to amplify the number of people, populate the link, and amplify the number of people who are watching the link. Not only people can watch the link on real time, but can also later on their social media platforms, on their timelines, or they can search for the links and can watch it later on as well. And so this is one effective way of communication in which everything is in the hands of the viewer, that they want to watch it or not. And despite saying this, what has also been seen that these virtual rallies are becoming a big success, and maybe these can be a very essential tool in the political discourse in the future, because we saw that the Jan Samvad rally, which was held by Home Minister Amit Shah, top brass BJP leader, obviously, actually got a good response on Facebook, and Jan Samvad was trending on Twitter. Tweets were there, and they were on Facebook. A number of people watching it live. Number of people watched it later on also. So there is a lot of popularity that this kind of mechanism, this kind of a digital platform is getting, and political discourse is using this platform is obviously leading by example. When the government tells that digitalization should be promoted, digital things should be promoted, so leading by example is basically what is being tried to be proven.
Right.
Here. And besides, when we know that we are in the COVID crisis, utilizing the social media platforms to and not hampering the normal discourse of things that are happening in our day-to-day lives, or the things which could have happened either ways, utilizing the social platform to actually continue the entire discourse, continue the entire routine, is also one thing that has been proven by these rallies, and the public response has proven it a success as well.
Right, Meghna, thank you very much for joining us there and for your inputs. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi held a detailed meeting with senior ministers and officials to review India's response to COVID-19. The meeting reviewed the national level status and preparation in the context of the pandemic. It also took stock of the situation in different states and union territories, including in Delhi. It was attended by the Home Minister, the Health Minister, Principal Secretary to the Prime Minister, Cabinet Secretary, Health Secretary, DG ICMR, and other related conveyance of the empowered groups. Dr. Vinod Paul, member NITI, convener of the Empowered Group of Medical Emergency Management Plan, made a detailed presentation on the current status and likely scenario of COVID-19 cases in the medium term. It was observed that out of the total cases, 2/3 are in 5 states, with an overwhelming proportion of cases in big cities. In view of the challenges being faced, particularly by large cities, it was discussed to augment testing as well as the number of beds and services to effectively handle the peak surge of daily cases. Prime Minister took cognizance of the recommendations of the Empowered Group on city and district-wise requirements of hospital beds or isolation beds, which will be required, and instructed Health Ministry officials to undertake emergency planning in consultation with the states and union territories. He also advised the ministry to ensure suitable preparations in view of the start of the monsoon season. Prime Minister suggested that Home Minister and Health Minister should convene an emergency meeting with the Lieutenant Governor, Chief Minister of Government of NCT Delhi, in the presence of all senior officials of the Government of India, the Government of Delhi, and officials of the municipal corporations of of Delhi to plan a coordinated and comprehensive response to handle the challenge posed by rising cases of COVID-19. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will share his Mann Ki Baat with the people of India and abroad on the 28th of June through his popular radio program. The Prime Minister has invited people's suggestions and ideas in this regard. In his tweet, PM Modi said, and I quote, "Though 2 weeks away, please keep the ideas and inputs coming. It'll enable me to go through maximum number of comments and phone calls. I'm sure you'll have much to say on fighting COVID-19 and topics in addition to that." The Prime Minister further tweeted, "Your ideas have always been the strength of Mann Ki Baat, making it a vibrant platform that showcases the strengths of 130 crore Indians. Kindly record your message on helpline number 1800 and you can also write on Namo app or MyGov open forum." Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath has said that Purvanchal Expressway, the Ganga Expressway, Gorakhpur Link Expressway and Bundelkhand Expressway will prove to be milestones in the state's infrastructure. In the past 3 years, several effective steps have been taken by the government to create a conducive environment for investment in the state. PNB Bank yesterday handed over a cheque of 750 crore rupees as a loan to Chief Minister Yogi for the Gorakhpur Link Expressway. On the occasion, he said that today the world is witnessing new competition regarding investment opportunities where connectivity and security hold much significance. He added that PNB has already played an important role as a lead bank in the construction of the expressway. The Chief Minister also said that there are abundant opportunities in Gorakhpur with respect to health, education, trade and employment. Work is also underway at a fast pace to develop industrial corridor on both sides of the Gorakhpur Link Expressway. He assured that Gorakhpur will have an aims and will witness reopening of the fertilizer factory which closed 30 years back by the next year. In Odisha's Gajapati district, a tribal village has been adopted by SP Sara Sharma. Sindhipur tribal village is an isolated village cut off from urban areas. Villagers are deprived of even the most basic amenities due especially in the monsoon. SP Sara said that contributing funds from law students, the district administration will help in providing all the needs of the villagers.
गजपति जिला में जो ट्राइबल अफेक्टेड डिस्ट्रिक्ट है पूरा, वहाँ पे एक ट्राइबल विलेज को हमने अडॉप्ट किया और उनका पूरा ख्याल रखेंगे हम लोग, उनका हेल्थ से लेके, उनकी तबीयत से लेके, उनके जो बेसिक कुछ उनके डिमांड्स हैं जो हम लेके आए हैं, तो उनके बेसिक डिमांड्स विल बी फुलफिलिंग। ये हमारे कुछ स्टूडेंट्स हैं हिदायतुल्लाह नेशनल लॉ यूनिवर्सिटी के जो एलुमनाई एसोसिएशन उन्होंने बनाया है, तो उन्होंने कुछ कंट्रीब्यूट किया था कुछ फंड्स इसके लिए, और कुछ हम डिस्ट्रिक्ट एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन से लेंगे, कुछ अपना फंड मिला के हम लोग उनको हेल्प करेंगे।
And in the US, the number of infections due to coronavirus continue to rise. Over 20,74,000 confirmed cases were reported and over 1,15,000 deaths were registered lately. Meanwhile, New York again touched the lowest numbers of COVID-19 hospitalizations and daily deaths since the pandemic began. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo has said that 32 people in the state died due to COVID-19 on Friday, which was down from a record high of 800 9 weeks ago. Western New York region is expected to enter phase 3 of the reopening on June 16th, with nail salons and other personal care services resuming operations and restaurants offering indoor dining as well. However, the state of Washington's Governor Jay Inslee has issued a statement to alarm the increase of COVID-19 transmission. COVID-19 transmission continues to increase in eastern Washington as of the end of May. And residents of Rio de Janeiro were soaking up the sun on Copacabana beach just a day after Brazil overtook Britain as the country with the second highest number of COVID-19 deaths. Brazil has registered 8,50,514 confirmed cases of new coronavirus, and the total death toll has touched 42,720. The country registered 21,704 new cases over the past 24 hours and 892 deaths. The country's health ministry has reported more than 1,200 deaths a day since Tuesday, June 9th, a mounting toll as the country moves to ease quarantine restrictions and reopen businesses, a move called for by President Jair Bolsonaro. And as beaches in Rio reopen, residents flocked to Copacabana beach, as we were telling you. Meanwhile, in Russia on Saturday, the country more than doubled its official number of coronavirus deaths for April to 2,712 after changing how it classifies fatalities. The previously announced number for April was 1,152. Officials warned that May's number of deaths was likely to be even worse, which has the world's third largest number of cases of almost 5,20,000. The country reported 8,706 new cases yesterday after its number of new infections peaked in mid-May. The capital, Moscow, the nation's worst affected, lifted tight lockdown measures last week. In Spain, wearing masks in public will remain mandatory even after the country's state of emergency ends on June 21st until a cure or a vaccine for coronavirus is found. As the number of new contagions and fatalities fell steeply, the government has gradually eased restrictions. Meanwhile, Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez and his ministers held their first face-to-face cabinet meeting since the lockdown to fight the pandemic was announced on March 14th. Before the cabinet meeting began, a minute of silence was held for victims of the virus. Spain, which is one of the worst affected from COVID-19, has registered over 2,43,000 confirmed cases and 27,136 deaths so far. Mexico City, the Mexican capital, will ease curbs on vehicular traffic and public transport from tomorrow, while factories will start opening a day after under strict sanitary protections. Easing of restrictions come even as new cases of coronavirus still rise. Mexico City and nearby regions account for over 40% of over 1,39,000 confirmed cases of the virus in the country. Gradually, small shops, professional services and scientific workers linked to industry will be open too. Meanwhile, foreign visitors have begun to trickle back to the white sands and warm waters of Mexico's Caribbean coast amidst new sanitary measures. A full recovery for Mexico's tourism sector, which represents 8.7% of gross domestic product and employs 4.5 million people, looks far off. The country has registered 16,872 deaths so far. Chilean President Sebastián Piñera on Saturday replaced Health Minister Jaime Mañalich amid controversy over the country's figures for deaths from coronavirus. The sudden reshuffle comes as Chile faces its toughest month in the pandemic so far, with spiraling active cases and death rates. The country now has the highest number of confirmed cases per million in Latin America, reporting 1,67,355 cases and 3,101 deaths. The new minister, Enrique París, is a former head of the Chilean College of Doctors and a university deacon. In a massive oil tank truck explosion in East China, the death toll has risen to 18, with 166 others injured as of today. The search and rescue operations are underway and all the injured have been hospitalized. The explosion occurred yesterday at around 4:46 p.m. when a tank truck loaded with liquefied gas exploded near Liangshan village in Violating city on a section of the Shenyang-Haikou Expressway. A second blast happened when the blown-up truck fell onto a workshop near the expressway. The explosions caused the collapse of some residential homes and factory workshops. The local firefighting department has dispatched at least 34 fire engines and 138 firefighters to the scene for the rescue. The government also joined rescue efforts. The road is sealed off and not accessible to vehicles. The cause of the blast is still under investigation. And with that, we wind up this edition of the news. News and updates continue on DD News and DD India. Namaskar.